All right, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. So I've been getting a ton of questions regarding the personality system in Digimon Story Time Stranger, and today I have a very special video for you, which is essentially going over what we currently know about how personalities work, how they affect certain aspects of combat, how you can change a Digimon's personality, and some out-of-battle advantages as well. Seeing as the system is highly complex, I've recruited the help of a good friend of mine that anyone who is a fan of Digimon will likely know, that being Grindosaur, aka the Chad behind the website, Grindosaur.com, which in the past I've described as the best resource for Digimon fans. The website has a ton of information about every Digimon game you can think of. It's got completed field guides, technical information about various systems, and they're already really hard at work putting together all of the information we know about Digimon Story Time Stranger. The dude even cut his vacation short just to make content on the website for you guys, so please go check him out. This video would not be possible without them. Now, that being said, there are 4 quadrants, if you will, of personalities. Each are denoted by a symbol based off of the 4 crests from the original Digimon Adventure series, including philanthropy, which is denoted by the crest of love, valor, the crest of courage, wisdom, the crest of knowledge, and amicability, the crest of friendship. Honestly, they should have just named them directly after the crests because they're much easier to remember. Now, each quadrant itself then hosts 4 personality traits, making for a total of 16. You can see the different personalities on screen, and these have a lot of implications when it comes to how they affect your Digimon stats, their evolutions, their special personality skills, and it can be dynamically changed as you progress through the game, unlike in Cyber Sleuth, where for all intents and purposes, personality traits acted a lot more like natures from Pokemon and could be changed with a simple item. Now, this does get a little bit technical, so I'm going to read off exactly what Grindosaur sent me, which I'll put on screen as well. Each base personality has the highest chance to be picked when converted. Adoring, brave, astute, and compassionate are never to be picked except if they're the base. The base quadrant also has the highest chance to pick the alternate personality, with adjacent quadrants being equally but less likely, and the opposite being the most unlikely. For example, a devoted base can never be adoring, brave, astute, or compassionate, but has the highest chance to be picked by itself, with tolerant and overprotective being equally likely if devoted isn't chosen. Valor and wisdom personalities are all equally likely, if not, philanthropy is chosen, with the amicability personalities being the rarest. Chances aren't yet calculated, but you can see some figures on screen. So basically, in a nutshell, you're more likely to get that Digimon's base personality when you're converting. If the game decides you're not going to get that, it will pick one within that same personality quadrant next. If it doesn't pick one of those, it'll pick one of 8 from the 2 adjacent quadrants, and if it doesn't pick one of those, it'll pick from the opposite quadrant. These personality traits, as stated, will affect your Digimon stat growth, and as you can see on screen, we have some information, again, courtesy of Grindosaur, showcasing all of it. Feel free to pause the video if you want to get a better look at this. Now, there are some big benefits to having a particular personality, the first of which involves personality skills, which are essentially passive traits that will have some level of impact in battle. For example, here you can see Patamon getting a boost to its intelligence for the first few turns of a fight. Now, personality skills can be learned over time, though they will replace old ones. You'll be prompted by this, but much more information is needed on this topic, which will likely surface on Grindosaur's site first when it does. I also mentioned the outside of battle benefit with regards to personalities that specifically has to do with de-digivolution. In previous Digimon Story games, if you have not discovered the de-digivolved stage of a Digimon, you were then simply blocked out from actually getting it unless you encountered it naturally through the game. This, however, has been changed thanks to the personality system. Now you can bypass needing to have discovered this Digimon if the Digimon you're attempting to de-digivolve shares a personality with the base personality trait of that Digimon. That said, this is optional in many cases, because if you have already discovered it, then it just becomes freely accessible. I'm not sure if the game will feature any Digimon that are only accessible through this way, but at least in the demo, that's the only way to get Tokomon, Patamon's previous evolution, for example. Now, the next thing you might ask is whether or not you can do anything to change this. The personality system affecting de-digivolution is nice, but if there isn't any way to actually affect personality beyond rolling the dice when you convert, then that would be a frustrating system. The fact of the matter is that there are a couple ways to influence your Digimon's personality, but again, we're going to need more research as time moves on. For every 4 battles, your Digimon will want to talk to you, and these conversations can include the 4 quadrants we spoke about earlier. Usually the first time you talk to them will have all 4, and then other subsequent conversations sometimes will only have 1, and they're all denoted by their little symbols. Now, this is from the Digimon subreddit. User Pandagami2 states the following. When you talk to your Digimon, you can check personality before answering. There's a little plus sign to show you where the personality marker is currently at. When you answer them, depending on your answer, a little plus sign will move closer to one of the four corners, aka diagonal movement. If it crosses into a new section, it will change personalities. Digiline conversations will also let you preview the personality chart and marker, and they mentioned here that the Digifarm will affect personalities, which I'll get to in a second. Now, if you're not presented with one of the four quadrants you're looking for, you can always just dismiss the Digimon's question, even though that kind of feels mean. Now, again, as of the time of this video going live, we just have the demo out, but I do have a little bit of information that you would have only received if you were a content creator, such as myself, invited by Bandai Namco to play Time Stranger early. And unfortunately, I didn't have a whole lot of time to dive much into this, but one of the representatives at Bandai explained the system a little bit to me and kind of showed me off recording. So I don't have the exact footage to match it up, but just trust me, bro. So basically, there are certain items you can get for the Digifarm. I'm gonna sift through my footage to see if I can find them, but basically you can use them on a Digimon in order to train them in a specific way. Each of these items will make a Digimon's personality shift, not too dissimilarly from what we see with the conversations. You can then wait an allotted time for the Digimon to complete its training, or you can simply pay a certain amount of yen/in-game currency to skip that process entirely. You can get them to continue training via the Digiline, but I wasn't allowed to actually show or record footage of that either. But yeah, that's the basic gist of how personalities will affect your Digimon in Digimon Story Time Stranger. That being said, for the casual fan, I would just say make sure your personalities match with the stats that you want your Digimon to increase. Again, you're going to get bonus stats for having a certain personality, and they're going to be exponentially added upon when you digivolve and de-digivolve and such. You min-maxers are definitely going to have to wait a little while after launch when everything gets dumped for that specific information though. Also, some extra information for those that want to know how powerful this can get. Grindosaur had the following to say. You can surpass level 100 stats very early on, it seems, with enhancements and stuff. It's wild. One of the cyber sleuth/hackers memory modders I spoke with earlier today voiced his concerns about Time Stranger having the inverse problem of those games. The latter had damage sponges, especially on hard mode. Time Stranger might be too easy based on modifiers. My personal guess is this is why there's a Mega and Mega Plus difficulty, because it looks like if you really understand the game's inner workings, you can get insanely powerful. But yeah, that's it for this video. Again, a little bit technical. If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment them down below. And again, special thanks to Grindosaur. His website is linked in the description. Go check it out. I could not have made this guide without him. And thank you all so much for watching. Just also wanted to say special thanks to our supporters, especially Candy Marunci, Tragsoft, Valorware, Nemo, and Wrathful Beast. And we'll see you next time. Peace.